and we've been in Hamburg, in Leipzig, and Berlin is our third stop. And we've seen a bit of your city, and we are really, really impressed. Although it's a bit cold here, but we have learned to enjoy this weather too. I represent the Indian delegation, which is collected here to explore bilateral trade with Germany. And allow me to introduce my group. This is Premnath from the IT sector, Janardhan and Shubhendu from the biotech sector, Amol, Gehen and Rajan from the medical equipment sector, and I myself am Sheenu from the hospital management consulting sector. I'm going to talk about, in brief, the healthcare system in India with relation to the opportunities and market for viable and sustainable bilateral trade between the two countries. The Indian economy is estimated to grow at roughly $1 trillion. Goldman Sachs predicts that it will expand by at least 5% annually for the next 45 years. So we're looking at a huge rate of growth for a very long, sustainable period of time. And it is also the only emerging economy to maintain such a robust pace of growth. And within this huge expanding economy, we find that the healthcare market has the biggest share in terms of both revenue and manpower employment. This story is not just a success story of tomorrow, but it can be verified by the rate of growth shown in the previous few years. During 1990, Indian healthcare grew at a compound annual rate of 16%. Today, the total value of the sector is more than $34 billion. India's healthcare sector is projected to grow at almost $40 billion in the next few years. Now, within this growing economy of healthcare, how do we look at the opportunities of bilateral trade? For this presentation, I'd like to focus upon three emerging key areas. Apart from the healthcare financing which is being pumped into the healthcare system, there is also a huge demand for healthcare. India has approximately 860 beds per million population, but this is only 1/5 of the world average, which is 3,960 according to the World Health Organization. Therefore, it is estimated that 450,000 additional beds will soon be needed. Now, the government is supporting 100% foreign direct investment in healthcare. So there is a huge opportunity for foreign investment in our country. Therefore, the first key focus area that I'd like to talk about here is building of the hospitals. In addition to the public-private partnerships which are prevalent around the world and also in India, there's a huge opportunity for the foreign companies to create super specialty hospitals in India. When we talk about building of the hospital structures, we're also talking about medical tourism, because if the foreign companies are going to be willing to come to India to partner with the Indian corporations, medical tourism could also find its way into India. Apart from medical tourism, the other key sector would be bringing equipment from Germany to India for these hospitals. We are also looking at another big opportunity of training of the manpower, the clinical manpower, the doctors, because the doctors would be needed to care for the patients in these facilities. Now, this is a mutually beneficial area. If the doctors are taken from India to Germany for training, not only are they gaining value in terms of clinical experience, they're also becoming attuned to the German equipments. And if you're talking about bringing the German equipments to India, they're also in a way creating a brand awareness about those equipments in India. So it's a bi-way, two-way street. The third key focus area is the clinical research. Pharmaceutical research is one area that is expected to achieve tremendous growth in the coming decade due to India's huge and growing population, low per capita drug usage, and increasing incidence of disease. Global pharmaceutical alliances with Indian drug firms are finally beginning to look like a two-way street with major research and development deals. So these three would be the focus areas in which we could promote bilateral trade. As I mentioned, there is a huge government support for making this happen. Apart from the FDI commitment, there is also right to information And India has signed TRIPS agreement in 2007, which follows WHO guidelines, and therefore intellectual property compliance in India is now very high. So that's a huge promise. With this, I'd like to end my presentation and say that we have a huge opportunity. India is waiting. The opportunity is now. This is a phase of immense bilateral growth, and we as a delegation welcome you to India to promote this. Thank you.